All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're going deep into big data and AI. You're with ChannelVest. This is your analysis. For info only, not financial advice. Transparency and truth are our core values. Powered by human research and AI insights, we deliver unmatched value. Stay tuned.
They call it the most secretive company in Silicon Valley.
We're talking about Palantir Technologies.
Yeah.
Huge company.
Today we're going to see if their massive growth is for real or if it's just hype. You won't believe it. Stick around.
So for anyone who's been living under a rock, Palantir specializes in big data analytics.
That's right.
They have two main products, Palantir Gotham, which is used by governments, and Palantir Foundry for commercial clients.
Right.
Both of them are designed to help organizations deal with huge amounts of data and make better decisions. Sounds pretty basic, right?
It's not basic at all. What's crazy is how big this is. Think about it. We're living in a world that's flooded with data.
It's everywhere.
Every click you make, every purchase, every sensor reading, all of that creates data. And Palantir's right in the middle of this data explosion.
So let's talk numbers, because that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The big data analytics market is expected to hit a massive $401.2 billion by 2028. Some estimates even say it'll be over $1 trillion in just a few years.
$1 trillion. You won't believe it. That's bigger than the entire economy of many countries.
This is insane. So obviously companies are realizing that if they can use all that data, they can get a big advantage. That's where Palantir comes in, right?
Exactly. They're not just riding the data wave, they're building the surfboard. Their platforms are giving organizations the tools they need to make decisions based on data, streamline their operations, and even predict future trends.
Okay, so Palantir is definitely onto something huge. Their revenue has been steadily going up. They've got a lot of cash, and they're in a market that's about to blow up.
Yeah.
But here's the million-dollar question. Is this growth sustainable? You're with ChannelVest. This is your analysis.
That's the question everyone wants to know. To figure that out, we got to look at their finances, their competition, and what's happening in the market.
Sounds like a plan. Let's start with a SWOT analysis,
Okay.
which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Right.
It's a classic way to understand how a company is doing.
Exactly.
So when we look at Palantir's strengths, a few things really stand out. First, their revenue growth has been really strong, which means there's a big demand for what they offer. Second, they have a lot of cash on hand, which gives them room to grow and deal with any problems.
Yeah.
And third, they're in a great position in the fast-growing fields of AI and data analytics.
Yeah, that all makes sense.
How far, so good.
Yeah.
But what about the other side? What weaknesses do we need to be aware of?
Yeah.
You're with ChannelVest. This is your analysis.
One of the big concerns is Palantir's valuation. Their stock price has been going way up, and some people think it's too high.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that.
There are also questions about whether they can keep growing so fast. Can they maintain this pace, or will they hit a wall?
So it's like they're on this rocket ship, but are they going to run out of fuel?
Exactly. And we also have to remember that they're up against some really big players like Amazon, Google, Microsoft.
Wow, yeah, huge companies.
These are giants with tons of money who are known for changing entire industries.
So it's like David versus Goliath, but with algorithms instead of slingshots.
Yeah,
Talk about a high-stakes battle.
for sure.
But let's change gears for a minute and look at the opportunities Palantir has to grow even more.
Okay.
What are they?
Well, one of the biggest opportunities is the huge amount of data that's not being used. As more and more devices and systems come online, the amount of data being created is going to keep skyrocketing. Palantir is in a good spot to take advantage of that.
They're basically sitting on a gold mine of data.
Exactly.
But what of the competition? How are they going to beat those tech giants we mentioned earlier?
Well, Palantir is focusing on what makes them different. They're not just offering generic data analytics tools. They're building custom solutions for specific industries and situations.
It's all about being unique and not just trying to be everything to everyone.
Right. And they're also using their expertise in AI to create cutting-edge features that make them stand out. Think of it like this. They're not just analyzing data, they're building AI systems that can learn, adapt, and predict the future.
Okay, so they're playing the long game, building a moat around their business with specialized solutions and AI-powered innovation.
Exactly.
But let's not forget about all the rules and regulations. How are they handling the ever-changing world of data privacy and security?
That's a really important part.
Yeah.
With all the rules and scrutiny around data these days, any mistake could hurt their reputation and make clients lose trust. They have to be really careful when it comes to data privacy and security. It's a tough balancing act. They got to be innovative and aggressive in the market, but also responsible and follow the rules. You're with Channel Vest. This is your analysis.
It sounds like they're walking a tightrope. So we've got this really interesting picture emerging. Palantir is a company with huge potential, operating in a market that's about to explode. But they're also facing some big challenges, like a high valuation, fierce competition, and having to deal with a lot of regulations. To really understand if their growth is sustainable, we need to look beyond the hype and dig into their financials.
Okay.
So let's roll up our sleeves and crunch some numbers. You're with Channel Vest. This is your analysis.
Sounds good. Let's do it. All right, let's open up Palantir's financial reports and see what's going on. You're with Channel Vest. This is your analysis. One of the things that really jumps out is their revenue growth. In the last quarter of 2024, their revenue went up a crazy 36% compared to the year before. They made a whopping $828 million.
Whoa, 36% growth. That's not just growth. That's like sprinting ahead. It's clear they're really meeting a need in the market. But revenue is only one part of the story. Are they actually making money from all this growth?
Now that's where it gets really interesting. They reported a net income of $79 million for the last quarter of 2024. That's a solid 10% profit margin. And for the whole year, 2024, their net income was even better, $462 million, a 16% margin. Their gross profit is also way up compared to last year.
So they're not just getting bigger, they're making more money too. That's a winning combo no matter what.
Yeah.
You're with Channel Vest. This is your analysis. What else can we see from their financial reports?
Their balance sheet looks pretty good too. They have a ton of cash on hand, $5.2 billion, which gives them a lot of flexibility to invest and handle any economic problems. Plus, their debt-to-equity ratio is super low, which means they're not borrowing too much money.
Sounds like they're in a strong position financially. But remember those risks we talked about. High valuation and those big growth targets.
Yeah, those are still things to think about. Even though their profitability is getting better, they're still behind the industry average in some areas.
So there's always room for improvement, but they're moving in the right direction. What about that really high valuation? Is that still something to worry about?
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. Even with their incredible growth, their price-to-earnings ratio is huge, like over 600.
Wow, that's high.
This means that investors are expecting really, really big growth in the future. If Palantir makes even a small mistake, their stock price could plummet.
High expectations can be a dangerous game. It's like walking a tightrope. You're with Channel Vest. This is your analysis. So let's go back to their last earnings call. Did they give any clues about their future plans?
Oh, they did more than just hint. They made it clear that their new AI platform called AIP is a big part of their growth strategy.
Right. For anyone just joining us, AIP is all about using AI to automate data analysis and make those powerful insights available to more people. It's like bringing data-driven decision-making to the masses.
Exactly. And a lot of people are already using it. They also gave a really optimistic prediction for their revenue in 2025, saying it'll grow a huge 31% compared to this year.
So they're going all in on AI, and the market seems to believe in their vision.
It seems like
But we've been talking a lot about what's happening inside Palantir. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. What's happening in the market that could affect them?
Well, the fact that the big data analytics sector is growing so fast is a huge advantage for Palantir. As more and more companies start using data to make decisions, the demand for Palantir's products is only going to go up.
It's like they're riding a wave that's getting bigger and bigger. You're with Channel Vest. This is your analysis. But you mentioned competition earlier. How are they going to stay ahead of all those giant tech companies and smaller analytics firms that are trying to catch up?
They're focusing on what makes them special. They're not just selling basic data tools, they're creating customized solutions for specific industries and needs.
So it's all about being different, not trying to do everything.
Right. They're also using their deep knowledge of AI to develop really advanced features that set them apart. They're not just analyzing data, they're building AI systems that can learn, adapt, and predict what's going to happen in the future.
It sounds like they're thinking long-term, building a strong defense around their business with unique solutions and AI-powered innovation. But let's not forget about the rules and regulations. How are they handling the constantly changing world of data privacy and security?
That's a key part of all this. With all the rules and attention on data these days, any mistake could hurt their reputation and make customers lose trust. They have to stay ahead of the game when it comes to data privacy and security. It's a tricky balancing act. They need to be innovative and aggressive in the market, but also responsible and make sure they're following the rules. You're with Channel Vest Death. This is your analysis.
So after diving deep into Palantir's finances and looking at the bigger market, what's the conclusion? Are they on track for continued success, or are those warning signs we talked about earlier a sign of trouble ahead?
Well, it's never a simple yes or no answer in finance. Palantir is a company with a lot going on, working in a market that's complex and changing quickly. They have a lot of good things going for them. They're growing fast, they're making money, and they're riding a huge wave of digital change. But they also have some big challenges like that super high valuation, intense competition, and having to deal with a lot of rules and regulations.
It seems like they're at a really important point.
Hmm.
The choices they make in the next few years could decide whether they become the leader in big data or if they collapse under the pressure of their own goals.
Exactly. So let's talk about the key things that will probably shape Palantir's future and discuss the different things that could happen. Stick around. This is where it gets really exciting.
All right, so we've talked about a lot. We looked at Palantir's strengths, their weaknesses, those exciting opportunities, and the real threats they face. We crunched numbers, looked at their finances, and even tried to predict their future. Now, the big question, where do we go from here? You're with Channel Vest Gacha. Is your analysis?
Right. If we think about the big picture, a few key things will probably decide Palantir's future. First, how many people start using their AIP platform?
Right, that AI platform.
If they can show companies that AIP is the way to unlock the power of their data, that could make them grow a lot.
It's like a secret weapon in the data world.
Yeah, exactly. The second thing is their success in the commercial market.
Right, not just governments.
They've already got some big names using their products, but can they reach more businesses and become the top data analytics company for all kinds of industries?
They got to prove they're not just for the government. They need to be a real player in the business world.
Exactly. And the last thing is how the whole big data analytics sector grows. If this market keeps expanding, like people think Palantir will be in a great position, but if the growth slows down, they'll have to fight harder for every customer.
So many things going on. It's like trying to predict the weather. You can see the patterns, but you never know for sure. This is where it gets really interesting, right?
Definitely. So let's imagine a few different scenarios. In the best case, Palantir's AIP platform becomes super popular. Companies everywhere want to use it because they see the power of AI insights. They keep expanding into new markets, their revenue goes through the roof, and their stock price skyrockets. They become the ultimate data kings.
It's the data-driven dream come true.
Yeah.
But let's be real. There's always another side, right?
Yeah, of course. In the worst case, all the excitement about AIP disappears. They have trouble getting businesses to use it, and they face tough competition from those tech giants we talked about. Their growth stops, their stock price crashes, and they become just another failed tech company.
Like the Icarus of the data age. Flying too high with those big valuations and ambitions. But honestly, neither of those extremes is likely to happen exactly like that.
True. The reality is probably somewhere in the middle. Palantir will probably have some wins and some losses. They might do really well in some areas but struggle in others. They might run into problems with regulations, go through some growing pains, and have to keep adapting as technology changes.
It's that messy, unpredictable, and totally fascinating reality of the business world. You're with Channel Vest. This is your analysis. So what does this mean for us, the listeners, who are trying to understand this complex and ever-changing company?
Well, we've given you the information, the insights, and the different viewpoints. Now it's your turn to do your own research. Think about the potential rewards and risks and make up your own mind.
And don't forget to subscribe to Channel Vest for more deep dives into finance and tech. We're here to help you understand the market and make smart decisions. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any future episodes.
We'd also love to hear what you think. Leave a comment below and tell us what you think about Palantir's future. Is this stock going to the moon, or is it headed for a crash?
That's it for this deep dive, folks. Thanks for joining us on this exciting journey into the world of big data and AI. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep learning.
And remember, knowledge is power, especially in this data-driven world.